Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. We are back in my test save doing more MC Command Center settings. This is the third third set of modules, which will be the population and occult modules. I went through yesterday and just like figured out. I did a bunch of math, which it hurt, really did hurt. Just because like it was not easy math. For those of you who don't know, I like to play my game quite realistic. I pride myself in saying I play pretty realistic. That being said, I do play with occults on occasion, and when I do play with my occults, I like them to be a bit more. I like them to be more in tune with like certain actual like TV or fantasy lore in real life. So like occults, they age at slower rates during certain age bands, and they live for much longer, that kind of thing. Which is something you can do with MC Command Center. So I'm very excited that I get to show you guys. But we'll just go ahead and click on the computer. So we can go ahead and click on MC Occult. Then we have the main 6 cast occults here. So what we're going to start out with is in Aliens. Now I don't mess with all of the settings in here, especially the maximum, and then whatever occult, I just let the game generate as many of them as it wants. It doesn't usually generate too many. But we're gonna go ahead and click on abduction pregnancy settings, and then pregnancy percent. For teens and elders, we're gonna put this at 25%, and then for young adults and adults, we're gonna put it at 50. So we're gonna go ahead and change these. And then pregnancy ages, we're going to do teen through elder. Pregnancy genders, we're going to do both. And then pollinator genders, we're going to do both. I like the idea that anyone can get abducted, obviously teen through elder, anyone can get pregnant, depending on the percentages, and that there's female and male aliens that probe, human sims. I just think it's a funny little thing, considering I barely ever interact with alien sims in my games. So, in abduction settings, we're just gonna change this to include teens. I don't like it to abduct children. I leave all the rest of this alone. I feel like it, isn't too crazy. The aging settings is where it gets really fun. So if we go into age multiplier, and I have the same multiplier for all ages. So for child sims, if it's above 100 will increase values and below will decrease. So anything above 100 they age slower, anything lower than 100 they age faster than whatever your lifespan settings are set to, whether they're regular in-game lifespans or custom MC Command Center lifespans. It'll multiply, in this case, the child lifespan by whatever. So for aliens, I have it set to 150 for all of these. So imagine the 100 is there's no additional multiplier on their aging, so they have an additional 50 multiplier on their aging throughout all of them. I don't set a maximum age state, so like if you wanted your alien sims to stop aging when they hit their adult lifespan, you can set it to that. Force alien disguise. I do force alien disguise. I just don't like alien sims to be walking around in their alien form. I prefer them to be like looking like humans when they're in like the normal world. When they're in the alien world, they'll wear their like regular alien selves. I don't know why I said where their alien selves. In other pregnancy, I already set this to use custom pregnancy. But for custom pregnancy percents, I set this to 50 for all of them. Basically, the way this works is, let's say for like the alien and hybrid, let's say you have one sim who's an alien and the other one's the hybrid and they have a child together. This determines how much more likely it is to be either a full alien or a hybrid. So if you have an alien hybrid sim have a baby together, the baby will always come out an alien. I like to just do 50% because I like the idea that the baby could still come out a hybrid. And then if it's two hybrid parents, there's a chance that the dormant alien genes will result in a full alien baby. Alien and human, it could either be a full alien or a hybrid. And then hybrid and human, same thing, either full alien or a hybrid baby. So that's kind of how it works for these custom percentages. So the next one we're going to do is fairies. So I love the idea that fairies live for much longer than aliens do. I think the way I have this set up too is that they age slower. So we'll do age multiplier. And then for child and teen fairies, they age at a normal rate, but once they hit young adulthood, they age much slower. So we're going to set this to 200. Oh, not 2000, 200. Wait. Adult. 200. And then I'm going to leave elder alone because I actually have the maximum set, so for fairies, the setting defines whether they age normally through all ages or if they stop aging at a specific age and become immortal from then onwards. I have this set at adult. So when it's set at normal, it just means that they essentially never become immortal, and will, die of old age at some point. Other pregnancy, I do the same thing where under custom percentages, I go through each of these and put 50. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I also did want to show you guys really quickly, in this fairy and alien one, there's actually 3 options. For the full occults, I put 33%, so I put 33 for under fairy and alien, and under hybrid, I put 32. That totals out to 100%. So if there's ever 3 options, that's how you can do that. But then the next one is the mermaids. Again, all of my occults age at different rates than my human sims do. So the age multiplier for the mermaids is only for young adult and adult sims, which is set at 200. Now, this is based off of actual lore that I've gone through and, chosen from the various different, adaptations of mermaids and witches and fairies and all these different things. So this is entirely up to personal preference. I don't do the forced mermaid form or the maximum mermaids, and then under pregnancy, I'm going to go ahead and that's already set to 50. So again, we're going to do 33, 32, and then 33. So there's a slightly more chance for it to be a full occult rather than a hybrid, but still a chance to be a hybrid. Okay, spellcasters. Other than in the MCC settings, the word spellcaster is changed to the word witch everywhere else in my game. So I just wanted to point that out in case like I'd say witch instead of spellcaster. Their age settings, I have a multiplayer only on young adult and adult, and it's set to only 125 because I like them to like age slightly. I like to say that they would be using their powers to slow their aging when they're a young adult and an adult. But then once they reach the elder stage, they age normally. Sorry. And then other pregnancy vampires. Now I use a mod that affects vampire and werewolf lifespans and aging outside of MC Command Center. So part of these settings are settings that I have to set because of that mod, and then some of these are like actual custom ones that I like chose. So I think only in age settings is what's needed for the other mod. The rest of them are mine. But in age settings, age multiplier, young adult and adult are set to 500. I don't know why I kept clicking on that other one for so long. And then the maximum age is set to adult in here. So once they reach an adult life stage, they stop aging altogether. For the experience adjustment, I set this to 1. And then other pregnancy, custom percents. Just want to make sure. Okay, so then we'll set this 33, 32. Oh, not 22, 32, and 33. So then the next one is the risky vampirism, which I love these settings so much. There are plenty of mods that like additional mods that do this as well. But the great thing about MC Command Center is that there's settings within the mod that instead of having to have 7 different mods to do all these different things, it's just the one. So when a vampire feeds on a sim, these settings allow the target sim to have a chance of becoming a vampire by accident. So I have this set to only with the creation power, which is the default. And then for the feeding percentages, compel for a deep drink is 50%, and then drink uncontrollably is 100%. So let's do this. And then the rest of these are set to 0, so if I do an ask for permission to drink or compel for small drink, there is no chance of that sim becoming a vampire. But with compel to drink, there's a half and half, and then the sim will always become a vampire with the drink uncontrollably. And then I enable the notification. And then finally in MC Occult, we have the werewolves. So the age settings, age multiplier. I do this for young adult, adult, and elder, which is set to 150. Alrighty, so then the next one we get to move on to is the MC population, which probably has the most amount of like changes in it. So the first ones we're going to go into is the moving settings. And then allow homeless move in. We're actually going to disable this. So this setting allows Sims in homeless households to populate, empty houses on lots in the different neighborhoods. Only houses with at least 1 bed in the lot info will be valid for move-in. So I disable this. I don't like Sims to move into houses however they want. I like to pick and choose houses because I like the fact that Sims are supposed to stay within certain regions, and obviously I know how many bedrooms can fit. Like how many bedrooms are in a house. When the Sims do it, they just kind of pick how they could pick a 1-bedroom house when there's 8 Sims in that household. Like it doesn't work. Um, the homeless apartment percent I'm going to set to 0 for that same reason. Maximum homeless, I'm actually going to set this to 50. So this approximate number of homeless Sims the game will generate. This number does not include mandatory Sims needed by the game. So instead of it just infinitely generating homeless Sims, it's capped at 150. The rest of this I leave alone. Population settings. Percent baby, I'm gonna set to 0. Infant, I'm gonna leave at 20. Toddler and child, I'm gonna leave at 20. Just wanna make sure that's actually set to 20. Adult is going to be set to 40. Elder is going to be set to 0. Male is going to be set to 49. Butler age, I'm going to remove elder and add young adult. And then import tray settings. So I like to do a mix of trace sims and actual game generated sims. So tray percent, I'm gonna set this to 50. Sim type, only my sims. Only include tags. Include clothing enabled. Import skip sim if a name exists. And then we're going to go on to enable or disable bar nights, and then I'm going to remove everything but I don't know why it wants to scroll outside of this, but guys, ladies, and singles night, because all of the rest of them are not needed. And then the last of what we're going to go through is in other settings. There are plenty more settings within population that you go through, but I like to control my game as much as possible, so I just change what I'm not controlling. So we're going to do bypass sim culling. We're going to enable this. So if enabled, sims will never be culled when the population reaches high numbers. Again, I'm very controlled about this, so I on a regular basis will go through and delete sims and release ghosts and like all of those things. So and then we're going to go ahead and do disable immortal sims, and we're going to click enabled on this. This will enable them to actually age. So I do this for all of the options. So city living, cottage living, all of these in here, I basically set them to be not immortal. Okay, so I actually was wrong. Seasons, Snowy Escape, and Tragic Clown, I leave alone. Everyone else actually ages. The maximum sims in a zone, I raise just slightly to 50 sims instead of 20. The no Reaper stalking, enabling this setting will prevent the Grim Reaper from casually showing up in public places. We don't need all that. And then the randomized visiting sims I enable shuffles the list EA generates of valid sims to visit a lot, so they do not visit in the same order every time. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was again slightly shorter. As we get to near the end of this, it's gonna get like these last 3 videos are gonna be kind of short just because I'm actually like figuring out my MC command center settings before. I was just randomly rambling and reading through every single individual setting. Personally, I feel like these settings are the best for realism gameplay and getting the most out of your game and getting the most out of MC Command Center. The rest of it is kind of like nitpicky and very personalized. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to check out my beacons page down below, which has all of my socials and my Discord link. And I will see you guys next time.